And we are back. Wow, what a great turnout here tonight for Coach Merriweather's show and Coach Nagy. It's our final shows of the year. And again, thanks to Steve, who's working hard here with his staff at Flyboys in Beaver Creek out by the mall at Fairfield Commons. Of course, we'll be back again next year, but there's still some things to work on, Coach. But congratulations on sharing the Horizon League regular season championship this year. The first time Wright State has done that since 2007 when they were able to host a tournament. You're the #1 seed just like that year. And I know you're really extremely proud of your kids, the way they handled it in that really tough game against Milwaukee on Saturday.
Yeah, and I'm not super fond of sharing, but But
you're happy to win.
We're happy to win that. I think it hasn't been the easiest of years, and watching our team deal with the loss of Jalen and deal with a very tough early season schedule and being 2-3 in the league, and just watching them just keep doing what we ask them to do, and just how that paid off for our players. It was a lot of fun after the Milwaukee game to be able to celebrate with the players, and I've told you this before. I think there's so much focus on going to the NCAA tournament, playing in the NCAA tournament, which in my opinion is a lot easier to do than it is to win a conference championship over an 18-game schedule. You just have to get hot for 3 games. And so I think it's definitely something to be celebrated, and our players are to be commended greatly.
Well, boy, what a contest that Milwaukee put up, and like you've said, since you've been here, they always play Wright State tough, either here or there.
Well, the 2 years that Pat's been there, I think he's a good coach, and they've got some players sitting out. I think they're going to be a heck of a lot better team next year, but they finished 5th last year, 10th this year, and we played 5 games with them, and they've all been just a struggle. And I think partly because of the way he coaches and matchups and those kind of things, but it's every game has been quite the battle.
Your team built up a 14-point lead with 11.5 minutes to play in the game, but they started isolation plays, made it a little bit difficult, but your team showed a lot of guts down the stretch, making some big free throws and some big shots.
And yeah, big shots. We obviously had the 14-point lead, lost it twice, down 1 a couple times, and both times we got down, our kids made great plays and executed some plays that we called, and like you say, the score, I think, with 36 seconds left was tied, and they had the ball. We ended up winning by 3, so obviously late we made some good plays.
Coach Brown, you talked about that was the longest 7.6 seconds. You said it could change your whole situation.
Well, I said when it happened, when it was about to happen, they're about to take the ball out of bounds, I said to Chris, this 7.8 seconds, it can change how you feel the whole next week. I mean, for a lot of people. I mean, and coaches understand that because you put so much into it, and it comes down to 7.8 seconds. You're either going to be a conference winner or you're going to be the number 2 seed.
And all those, those 7 seconds, a lot of the stuff that we do, it really comes down to what you've done for an entire year and what your kids believe in. The one thing about our huddle, that whole second half of the Milwaukee game, whether things were going good or we were struggling, when we came to those huddles, everybody was positive, including me, which is not easy for me to do. But everybody was very positive and pushing for the same thing. Nobody really cared who was in the game. They were just rooting the people on that were in there.
We've talked all season long about the contributions that Parker Ernstausen has made and Alan Vest has made. But in the last 30 seconds, when the game was on the line, Parker made a great bounce pass to
Malachi Smith.
Was it? I thought Parker,
that was early in the game. Yeah.
Parker made a great pass to Cole Gentry, and then on back-to-back plays. He made both those passes that resulted in baskets that gave us the lead. And then what I thought, I rewatched that game last night because I wanted to see if that young man traveled at the end of the game.
Bryce Barnes?
Yeah, because you hate to see a game end like that, but you know why that
Did he
happened?
travel? I guess I didn't.
Yeah, he did travel. He definitely traveled. But the play before that, when
the play before that really was the play of the game.
Absolutely.
Because we have ball screen coverages, and we weren't in the ball screen coverage that he performed, which is what we call show. He was very aggressive on the ball screen, and he made the kid kind of bounce and trip, and he ended up falling over. Mark stole the ball, went down and got fouled, and that's when we took the lead.
That's what I was going to say. Parker made a huge play there because he tried to split the double team, and that's when he tripped and lost the ball, and Allen went down. Mark went down, but the play at the end of the game, Alan Vest just did a great job on him, made him pick his dribble up, and he wasn't even going to have a good shot.
Our seniors, all 3 of our seniors that play have been, phenomenal for us this year, not only in terms of their play, and, you could go look at the stats and say, well, they haven't been, But in terms of their leadership and their attitudes, how they show up to practice every day, they've been great for us.
Well, you talk about some of those plays in that game, and you guys had to come up with some big plays. You got some good participation off the bench again, especially from Malachi Smith. I was talking about early in the first half when he was able to get that pass from Parker Ernsthaus on the bounce, going back door on that play. He just seems like he's so comfortable with the team right now. He takes the ball to the basket when he has. I know you'd like to see him, kind of less turnovers.
Yeah, really what I'd like to see him do is just be a little less hyper defensively. He's a good defender on the ball, but sometimes he jumps in the air and he gets himself out of position, some of those things. But he's still young. But he's not a freshman anymore. None of those freshmen are. They've played enough. They've been through an entire season. And, I think that Malachi is really playing like he's not a freshman.
Yeah, Skylar Potter also came in and hit a big three for your team in the second half.
Big three, and he jumped up and shot another one that was just rattled in and out, but you could tell he shot it with confidence, and that's fine. That's all we want him to do. Now,
there was a play in the game in the second half. Coach Brown reminded me it was something he said he saw Butler do. Malachi inbounded the ball to Loudon Love. It was like he was a quarterback. He faked the handoff, went to the basket.
Yeah, and that wasn't a call. That was just Loudon on his own. I think he just felt it, and he made the play. We give our players a lot of freedom offensively to do those kind of things. But yeah, that definitely wasn't a call. Loudon just made that play on his own.
All right, fans, we'll take a break. We'll come back for more. Hey, if you haven't got your tickets yet, please give a call to 775-4934, WSURaiders.com. The quarterfinals of the Horizon League Men's Basketball Championship. The road to Little Caesars Arena and Motor City Madness begins tomorrow at Wright State's Nutter Center. The Raiders, the number 1 seed, taking on the 8th seed IUPUI Jaguars. We'll have more from Flyboys in Beaver Creek. This is the Scott Nagy Show. This is Wright State University basketball.
What does it mean to be a pioneer, reaching your full potential? It means being bold. No, bigger than bold, monumental. Where would we be if we ceased at the first "you can't do that"? How would we advance if we stopped in our tracks every time we heard, "Hey you, move back"? We develop thick skin when opposition wishes we'd stay soft. Against resistance, our persistence will pay off. At Wright State, our goal remains central. We are the pioneers of potential.
And welcome back to Fly Boys. Along with Coach Jim Brown, we are talking to the head coach of the Wright State men's basketball team, Scott Nagy. It is our final show this year at Fly Boys. I want to thank everybody for a great turnout here tonight on this Monday, the day before the quarterfinals of the Horizon League postseason tournament. Coach, we were talking earlier. I had this picture that Trevor Thompson, who is a photographer, who took the pictures of the game, and he really caught the moment, I thought, at the end of the game. You see Loudon and Cole jumping off the bench in excitement. You know, March Madness is here. You can see all that emotion and enthusiasm. But what I thought was interesting was two of your assistants, Coach Sargent and Coach Cooley. Coach Cooley looks like he's 3 feet off the floor.
Yeah, he's a better athlete than people give him credit for sure.
He was really excited about that. But, when you look at that, because you put so much hard work, when it starts in the summertime, guys working out, getting ready for another season. And again, like you said, there's a lot more to do, right? At this point.
Such a long season, so much emotion, the highs and the lows of it. There's just no in between. There's no in between, and so as a coach, as a head coach, I work hard just to try to keep guys stable, not get too low, not get too high, because there's so many games. You can't let the last game affect the next game. But there are some moments like that where you just let your emotions really flow. And we did after the game. We were very excited.
Yeah, they were excited. Now, Coach Brown was excited too. We got to talk to Parker Ernsthaus, after the end of the game, and he really controls his excitement level. He gets excited, but he doesn't get too high, doesn't get too low, and you could see it in the way he was expressing himself, how excited he was for the win.
And mostly, we're happy for everybody. We're mostly happy for the seniors. This was their last chance, their only shot to win a conference championship, where these other guys come and have more chances. And so, we've been talking about it here for about the last month, just preparing our guys and talking about how we want to play and what we want to do for our seniors. And our seniors have done a great job too. So we're just very happy for them.
And I know on the airplane ride back, I know you had a special kudos for the other senior we haven't talked about who played a lot, and that was Mark Hughes. Didn't score a lot of points, but the job he did defensively on Jake Wright on Saturday night was unbelievable.
Phenomenal, really. I mean, Jake Wright scored 5 points, and 3 of them was when Mark wasn't in the game. The other one was a steal that he had. He went down and laid up. But when Mark was on him, he couldn't even hardly get a shot off. I mean, Mark, for really the last 2 years, we put him on every tough player we could possibly put him on, and We knew Jake Wright would be turned up. He knew it was his last game. There was no pressure on him, and so in that kind of situation, a guy could really go off. And Mark did an unbelievable job on him.
And and his reaction I thought was great when you told him, great job. You gave him some kudos, but he said, "Man," he goes, "I didn't want him to hit that 3 on me." He didn't want him to score at all.
Yeah, well, that 3 wasn't on him. He just didn't want him to hit that 3 because I think they knew going. I didn't know this, but our players knew going into the game that he needed 3 points to get to 1,000 career points. And he made that 3, and Mark was not very happy about it.
Well, that 3 occurred because Alan Vest came really close to making a steal.
Yeah, Alan gambled off of him, thought he had a steal, and it looked like he did have it. And then,
sure did.
Then Jake Wright ended up wide open on it.
Yeah.
Coach, I know you were really pleased by how the guys battled, how they've been battling through the whole season.
Well, that was a difficult game. I mean, those are the most difficult games because you have a lead. I thought when we made our run at the start of the second half that we were in good shape. We got up 14 points, and actually we had the ball back, Coach, like 3 or 4 times with the 14-point lead and just couldn't score. And then they started hitting some shots. I mean,
yeah. Both teams in the second half shot in the 60s. They went to that isolation stuff and. Really, as a coaching staff, we should have made some adjustments that would have helped Cole get through some of those ball screens, and so that was our fault. But they struggled to stop us too.
Yes, they did. And then when you lost the lead and the crowd, what there was of it, they got into the game big time. It sounded like there were 10,000 people in there, and there was probably, I don't know, I don't want to say, but there weren't many.
Our kids didn't panic, know. And I know I can hear people even back here at Wright State yelling, "Call a timeout! Call a timeout!" You're probably saying,
"No, I wasn't, Coach. I wasn't."
It's never been my MO. I generally don't call timeouts when most people think you should be calling timeouts, and I don't know whoever wrote the book on that thinks they know. But I like to have my timeouts at the end of the game. I figure teams are going to make runs. That's the way it works. And so I like to have the timeouts left at the end of the game. So if we need to get people in position, then we can do that. It's way more important to me for that than it is if a team makes a run. I expect our team, when a team makes a run, to get themselves calmed down and figure out ways to score and get stops. Because if we call a timeout, what am I going to say to them? They already know what I'm going to say to them. Yeah. And so figure those things out on the floor, work through those moments. Now, there are some times where I may call that timeout, but most of the time I don't call timeouts when people think I should.
And your strategy at the end, I think, when they had the ball out of bounds with 3 seconds, you talked about this after the game on the postgame show about Parker's defense on the lob, because people can make shots with 3 seconds to go.
Oh yeah,
yeah, they can make shots.
Three shots. You catch the ball at the half court line, you can get 2 or 3 dribbles in and get a shot.
Yeah.
But Parker, we just told him stay on his right shoulder. He's right-handed. I don't care if he runs left. You can't run left and throw the ball with your right hand. And so, Parker did a great job of just staying on his outside shoulder and really made it difficult for him to make a good pass.
We didn't even get the pass to half court.
No,
I mean, he caught it, and the guy, I think what they wanted to do, Coach, is throw a long pass and then kick it to one of their wing guys for a 3. I think that was their strategy, but you totally.
Yeah, and I haven't gone back and watched it, because I've moved on, and I haven't seen what our guys did in the backcourt. All I know is Parker did a great job on the ball.
Sure did.
Coach Nagy, you were telling me here recently about how you really love these seniors and this team in general because they play the game on the floor, and it makes it a little easier for you, as a coach. You really trust them to make the decisions on the floor, and you said that that's something that you're happy to see with the squad.
Yeah, and it generally with the good teams that we've had, by the time we get to the end of the season, I have to do less coaching. They kind of take over. They take over in practice. They make sure nobody's messing around. They just know what to do, and so you coach less. And really, as a coach, that's where you would like to get. Our players completely understand what they're supposed to do. And I would say this: we're probably, if you look at the talent in our league, we're not the most talented team. I don't think there's any question about that. But I think we're one of those groups where the sum of the parts is greater than if you just took one each individually. I think our guys have done a good job of just sticking together and figuring out ways to win games, even when we're not the greatest three-point shooting team. We've been pretty consistent defensively, which I think has really helped us. Our team got a lot better. We've had some good offensive games, some awful offensive games. But they, it's just been a good definition of a team for sure.
And up next is the Horizon League quarterfinals, the road to Motor City Madness in Detroit. The Raiders, the number 1 seed, they share the league title with Northern Kentucky. They'll take on IUPUI tomorrow night At 8 o'clock will be the tip-off, 8:01 officially. So we want to see you out there in the seats cheering this team on tomorrow. Get your tickets. Again, call 775-4934, or you can go to the Wright State Athletic website at wsuraiders.com. Want to see you tomorrow night rooting on the Raiders against the Jags. We'll take another break from Flyboys in Beaver Creek. This is the Scott Nagy Show. This is Wright State University basketball.
The Horizon League's men's and women's basketball championships roll into Little Caesars Arena March 11th and 12th. Don't miss your chance to see the surviving 4 finalists of the Horizon League battle for an automatic berth in the NCAA tournament. $15 general admission and $25 two-day passes are on sale now. Don't miss out on the madness. Visit horizonleague.com or call 313-471-7575.
And welcome back. It is the final show. Scott Nagy Show here at Flyboys in Beaver Creek, along with Jim Brown and Chris Collins. And before we get into the next segment, I don't want to embarrass him, but it is his birthday, and he told his parents here in Beaver Creek that he wanted to come out and see the Scott Nagy Show here in person at Flyboys. Micah Lacey is right over here to my left. That's his mom, Heather, and Paul, basketball fans, Wright State. He wanted to come out here tonight because he loves the Raiders. Micah, thank you so much. We appreciate it. And happy birthday. All right, thank you very much. Get them when they're young, Coach.
Yeah, he's struggling for entertainment if he wants to see the Scott Nagy Show.
Well, he's enjoyed his food here tonight, that's for sure. All right, now you get ready for IUPUI. Again, you do this all the time. You see teams twice, you can see them for the third time. They were tough. They were a tough team. They're very physical. You can say the most physical team in the league.
They're without question the most physical team. They lead the league in rebound margin. They're the best offensive rebounding team in the league. And defensively, they do a lot of stuff that makes it tough for us. They are tough. They're very well coached. You know, our 3 through 8, I think all 6 of those teams could have finished 3rd or 8th. I mean, that's how close. That's how close it was in this league. And I said that at the beginning of the season. I didn't think the top of our league was as strong, but the middle of our league was so much stronger, and it's proven to be that way. And so, I mean, we know we're playing a good team. We certainly won't overlook them. I think we have a lot of respect for them, and it should be a great game.
Well, you remember last year, and I'm sure that Northern Kentucky does. They were upset by the 8 seed Cleveland State, who went to the finals.
The last 2 years, my first 2 years here, the number 1 seed has been beaten, and I think even the year before that, it was the same way. And so everybody understands that it's not simple. These tournament games are not easy. None of these teams are afraid of each other. There's just because it's 1-8, that doesn't mean anything to anybody that's playing in the game or coaching in the game.
Well, it's like many other leagues, too. It's a one-bid league. Whoever wins this championship gets the NCAA berth, so everybody's leaving it out there on the floor.
They definitely are, and it just is. It always comes down to who's the most desperate, and desperation is a great quality to have when you're playing in a game, and when the teams are so talented, so evenly matched, the desperation level, just has to be so high.
So what's it like, your experience even with the Summit League in South Dakota State, and when you had to get your teams prepared for the postseason tournament, getting ready for a team, like this, like you talk about, it's so close, the margin of error is just so tiny for both teams.
Usually the toughest game is the first game in a tournament like this. It just is, because the nerves are high, particularly when you're the higher seed. There's just a little more pressure that you carry. And so the first game is generally the toughest game, and then once you get into it, you have a better flow. But I think the team we're facing is incredibly tough, and certainly won't come in here and be phased at all.
Well, you talk about their toughness and their rebounding both ends of the floor, but also they have one of the better shooters in the league, and Cam Justice. He's an outstanding player.
He's got a ton of freedom. They bring Manette off the bench, who has a ton of freedom, and they have a great power game, quite honestly. Evan Hall and Ishmael inside. I mean, they've really been playing a little bit slower and being more physical and pounding the ball inside. And so, our players have a big challenge ahead of them without question.
And they're primarily a man-to-man defense, too. They don't play
They play some zone. They're inbounds underneath. They'll play some zone. They're going to be physical. They're going to switch. They're going to make it difficult, for us to swing the ball and do things like that. So we know they know what we do. We know what they do. There won't be any surprises. It'll just come down to who's more desperate.
Since they've added Ishmael, the first time we played him, Ishmael didn't play as much. He came off the bench, but now he's 7'1". And
well, his last 7 games, he's averaging 13 and 9. And like I say, they put him in the game. He's starting now. They're playing a little bit slower. They're being more deliberate about pounding the ball inside. He's the biggest man in the league by far. I mean, he is big.
Yeah, and defensively, he's and impacts the game.
He caused some problems for sure, but offensively, he's very physical and he's a great offensive rebounder.
You know what I do think, Coach, is the fact that they play those two guys together, Hall and him. I think it's kind of taken some of the offense away from Hall because Hall was in there by himself before. Now he's got another guy in there.
I don't know if they care as much about who they're taking offense away from. And you look at their last five losses or last 6 losses, 4 of them were by 2 or 1 point. Mm-hmm. Very close games. They're just going to play tough. We know it's going to be a tough game, and I do think it'll come down to just their inside play and our inside play.
Coach, I just wanted to ask you this. It is what it is. We know what it is. It's a different format this year than going up and playing all the games up in Detroit. The quarterfinal games, the bottom 2 teams did not make the postseason tournament. It's going to be just the 8 remaining teams, and you play the first game in the top 4 seeds home court. What does that mean to you? I mean, what did you think about when they decided to come out with this type of format?
Well, if some teams don't like it. Now, I don't think any coach likes the fact that you got 2 teams that aren't making it. That's a coach killer right there, and nobody likes that. Everybody likes to have that shot, and some people complain saying, it's not fair because it doesn't give everybody a fair chance. My one thought is everybody has a fair chance when the season starts. We're all 0-0 when the conference season starts, so you do have that even chance, but no, I don't think you find a coach that would tell you he likes the fact that there are teams not included in the tournament. Now, it just has to happen that way. And so then, people complain about, some people get home games. My thought on that is just be one of the better teams, and then you don't have to worry about it. And so I'm okay with it. Yeah, we like to play a home game, and so I don't worry about it too much.
I think it's good because it rewards you. I mean, you've talked about it. I mean,
and you should be. If you're one of the better teams, and when you get in the tournament, and what's good for the league is really your top teams playing. It would be what's best for the league is that your top teams are playing in the Final Four, and so obviously the home games give you a better chance to do that. It doesn't guarantee it, but as the Horizon League is trying to boost their net now, it's not RPI anymore; it's a net. It's very important that the top teams are getting the opportunity to play more and play against better teams, and so. Having that home game should give you an advantage, and you should be rewarded for having a good season.
And I think the other thing is, and I think this will play out, is the fact that they're playing 4 home games. That will energize fans because they'll get caught up in it. They go to a game tomorrow night, Wright State wins, they get the tournament fever, and then going to Detroit, it's not like you have to be up there 3 nights now like you had to before. You only have to be up there really 1 night.
Yeah, and I haven't thought about that, Coach, but you're probably right that it would give every team that goes up there a better chance to bring more fans with them.
Right, I think it's a huge deal that way, and hopefully we win tomorrow. We get a lot of people up there.
And a great experience last year because the team came out the victors, the champions, in the first tournament for the Horizon League played at Little Caesars Arena. You think that experience last year may help them this year? Obviously, they're playing the first game at home.
Yeah, I don't know how much it helps them. It certainly can't hurt them. Yeah. And so, I don't know how much you can draw from that in terms of, when we play tomorrow night. But it definitely doesn't hurt our players.
Well, Coach, I know you got some time to get this team ready for the game tomorrow. You practiced. Not a whole lot of time in between, that last game in Milwaukee and getting back here and getting prepared for Tuesday's game. But, best of luck, and we hope we have a great crowd out tomorrow at the Nutter Center.
Yeah, get out there if you have the chance. It should be fun.
And we want to thank Steve again, and all the people here tonight. Fly Boys, yes, it is the destination for the Scott Nagy Show. We'll be back again next year, and I know, Scott, you're very appreciative of all that they've done this year.
I am. This has been great. It's been a great venue, and it's great to see so many people turned out tonight.
And we're not done yet. We've got a couple players here for you. We really love having them here. It's Loudon Love and Cole Gentry will be joining us here in the next few minutes at Fly Boys. This is the Scott Nagy Show. This is Wright State University basketball.
Join us as we celebrate Wright State's 20th Arts Gala on April 13th. Enjoy an incredible evening of performances by our talented students in art, music, theater, dance, and motion pictures, plus fine dining and auction items too. All proceeds support arts scholarships to help our students succeed. That's Arts Gala on April 13th. For tickets, call or click.
Along with Coach Jim Brown, we're here for the final 30 minutes in our final Scott Nagy Show of the year at Fly Boys in Beaver Creek. And again, I just want to thank everybody for taking the time out on this Monday to come out here tonight Again, tell your friends, family, everybody, get them out there. Support this Wright State team, the number 1 seed in the Horizon League tournament, taking on IUPUI tomorrow night at Wright State Snyder Center. The women's game with Oakland starts at 5:30, doors open at 4:30, and the men's game will begin at about 8 o'clock right after that. So let's get some Raider victories tomorrow, and you be a part of that, and let's fill up the Nutter Center and have a great time. And with us right now, he is a sophomore here at Wright State, believe it or not. He seems like he's been here for a while, but he's the attention of many, especially throughout the season. He's the attention of all the opposing teams. And Loudon Love, folks. Let's welcome Loudon Love here. Of course, last year's Freshman of the Year in the Horizon League. And, Loudon, we're on radio also, but I was going to describe this picture. It was taken right at the end of the game of you and Cole jumping off the bench, once you realized the game was over. But I want to say this, too. Look at your 2 assistant coaches, Coach Sargent and Coach Cooley.
They're absolutely pumped up. And, I got a text from Cooley after, and him and Cole joked about me and Sarge not being hit with it yet, that we won. But I think that's as fast as me and Sarge can get up, honestly. So I don't know how they were already up. And Cooley is about 3 feet off the floor there. But it was a special moment, absolutely. And I don't think it did hit me, actually, because you share it, but still getting that regular season championship is big.
What's it been like, for you this year? Because let's say you're the focus, of the offense and other teams, coming at you.
I think a big part of it is because my teammates allow me to be able to do what I do down there, and they feed me the ball a lot, and really they do spread the floor on the perimeter a great deal. So I think it's hard to key in on one thing, and the versatility of this team and everyone playing their role is really what makes it so special and helped us get that 1 seed.
Well, you're a hard worker like just about everybody on this team, and you've worked hard on your free throws. Now, you struggled a little bit at Milwaukee, but before that, you were at 70% in conference. That was great. Good for you.
No, yeah, and I joked with Coach Brown about it after. That was just not great. It obviously came down to the stretch in Milwaukee, too, and I hit one that kind of counted more than the other ones, but they all count. And it was a tough night for me, but you bet I'll work on it again in between Milwaukee and tomorrow. So.
No, but you made the one that absolutely had to be made. If you miss that, we're going to have to go down and foul, and then who knows what happens. And did you feel a lot of pressure when you were shooting that shot?
I think I just rushed myself a little bit at the line the entire night. I tried to take a deep breath before the last few. The first one right before it felt good, and then that one went in. It looked good. Yeah, it looked a lot better than the other ones, and then that one went in, so it was definitely a relief. And then obviously we have other free throw shooters like Cole, we sub in and get two automatically, so that's nice to have that cushion as well.
Well, it was. I'm sure there were a lot of Raider fans that were saying a lot of prayers.
We just wanted to keep them on the edge of their seat. If anyone asked, that's all I was doing. That's all I was doing.
That's good.
Talk about that play. We talked with Coach Nagy briefly about that, where Malachi inbounded the ball to you, and you have the option of taking it to the basket, and you finished with a dunk.
Oh yeah, no, like Coach said, we have a play in. That's just it's one of those counter plays to keep people honest on the initial action when they start cheating it or they think they can get through it or they have a game plan to get through it. That wasn't what we ran. It was more of a broken play. I saw the guys clear out, so I figured I'd just head to the basket, and it ended up with easy 2 and 1. Wish I could have converted the free throw, though.
Well, playing in a system like that, you heard Coach talk about, leave it up to the players out there on the floor. You're experiencing what's going on. It's a lot of freedom for a player like that.
No, absolutely. He gives us a lot of freedom, a lot. I've never been a part of a different college program, so I can't say what other coaches do, but I know it definitely helps you mature as a player on the court, and especially our freshmen, Malachi and Skylar. They've matured a lot this season. Even all of us, me, Cole, the seniors have still grown, even though despite being seniors. So it helps when it comes down to games like that and those time spans where you really need to make plays, you're able to do so.
Loudon, there's a lot of good things about this team, and I want to ask you, what do you enjoy most? There's still a lot of work to do, obviously, but what do you enjoy most about this team?
Just being around the guys. It's a great culture around us, and the coaching staff's great, and everything's a lot better when you win. So obviously winning and then just being around the guys, and those two together, they're excellent. So.
Coach Brown has discussions with the wonderful people that wear stripes, before each game. And, they come up to him and they say, hey, have a great game here tonight. But we notice at times, and it's not just you, there's other players too that get pushed around a lot, and you have to adjust to that.
No, it's getting physical, and I know obviously you don't have the same refs every night. Yeah. So the first few minutes of each game, you kind of got to take that into account and see what's going on, see what physicality you can play with and what you can get away with as well as what they're getting away with, and then kind of adjust. So I think that's why it's such a big game of runs, because that plays a big part in it with the refs.
Well, the college game has become very, very physical inside, and you know that better than anybody, because every time you touch the ball, practically you're going to get double, sometimes triple team. There's been times this year when it's been thrown into you and you've had 4 guys on you, and it's just I think two things. I think the guys have done a really good job. You know, I've said many times the toughest pass in basketball is the post-entry pass. It's tough because it takes timing, because you can't get open for a long stretch of time. It's not like you get in there and you say you got 5 seconds. There's a small time that they can get the ball to you.
Absolutely, and a lot of times they're throwing it open. I mean, the guards do work real well on it. And you say physical in the post, but there's guards getting pushed off balance and stuff while they're trying to make that pass. And Parker's arguably the best passer we have over the top, and part of it's his size, which makes it easier for him. But they're really good at leading me to a spot, leading me to an open side, because like you said, it's only a glimpse that you get to see where it's open.
But you've done a great job. I mean, the last half of the season, I think, of getting yourself open in positions where you can finish the play.
Yeah, me and Coach always talk about it, and no matter what, he always tell me to post deeper. And so I've been working on that, and it's just the mentality to just keep going, keep sitting down and pushing and pushing and pushing no matter what.
And there was a play the other day where they threw it to you at half court, and you did your best Magic Johnson down the sidelines.
I mean, I did it earlier at a home game too, into a post up somehow. I just took it from half court all the way to a post up. But I brought up a little bit, kind of tried to calm it down as best as I could with the ball, and Bill made a great play once I gave it to him.
Yeah, you did. I mean, it was an assist. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, well, but it was you got against the press. You took it right down the sideline, kicked it to Bill. Bill went in and finished the deal.
Yeah. I mean, anything to take it off the guards. Those guys are getting up and down the whole game, getting rode up the sideline and stuff. So anything to take it off of them.
Well, what's it like working with him, especially Cole Gentry, who handles the ball extremely well, dribbles out of the traps, double teams and all that, and you guys maybe will set up a pick and roll at times. Working together, it's really important you guys have that camaraderie.
No, absolutely, and it makes it a lot easier as a big, because, I mean, he's so quick too. Like when I roll, I'll see whether he's snaking back and what he's doing before I even get out of the screen, and he really communicates well on where he wants it, how he wants it, higher, lower, and flipped or when. So it does make it a lot easier. And even with the other guards, like Mark comes off it, and when he comes down aggressive, he's very aggressive with it, and it helps us out a lot as a team because he's usually getting to the rim for a finish or a foul. So
Coach Brown has talked about all season long. He says it's very difficult to execute that, and a lot of times, it's on the guard because they call these illegal screens so often.
Yeah, I mean, the one up in Milwaukee, I think I just kind of lost my balance, kept going forward, so that was an easy call. But I think we've done a good job of executing and staying away from those cheap ones, because those are the ones that will hurt you, especially early in the first half. And teams plan their ball screen coverage, obviously, so it when you can't execute, it's great.
Yeah, there have been very few times that we had one in Milwaukee, but we've had very few of those all season long. Chris mentioned the other day, and I talked just a little bit ago, how consistent you've been at the latter part of the season. And I think Chris mentioned that you've had 17 straight games of double-figure scoring. Is that right?
Yep.
See, that's consistency. That's getting it done inside, and I mean that's important to this team, because our offense is so different when you're on the floor because when you're not on the floor, we really don't have an inside scoring presence that posts up in there. That's not Parker or Bill.
No, yeah, we're definitely a lot more drive first. I think when I'm out of there, and I can kind of tell when I'm out, when I'm watching, I can see, and they get the job done too. I mean, obviously with the shots I'm shooting, I should be able to convert at least 5 layups a game and do that kind of stuff and shoot a higher percentage. Where these guys, they have to get all the way downhill on people, and they have to use their pivots and shot fakes, or they have to just be able to knock down these open shots, and some even contested. Like Mark Hughes, I know, gets the ball a lot at the end of the shot clock and has people running him off the line. He has to be able to pull it with confidence, let it go, and he's been doing that lately for us, and so have the other guards. So it makes it a lot easier.
Well, it's like two different offenses, because when you're in the lineup, everything goes through you. When you're not in the lineup, it's more of a dribble drive type of thing, and it is, it's a different offense totally.
No, yeah, we work on it that way in practice. Obviously, we have plays put in for it for different lineups too. So we plan for that, and it works pretty well for us, I think.
One thing Coach stresses too is getting to the free throw line, and you look at the numbers. Your team. The goal is to be able to make as many as or more than the other team attempts, and that's what Wright State's done.
He always talks about that, yeah, and I think I think it starts with just getting it inside, because even if I'm able to kick it out and people can drive downhill, it's easier on them to get get fouled from rotations and stuff like that. So I think we're working on that. We've been pushing for that, and I think we've been doing a pretty good job of it lately, getting the line.
For you in the league this year, I mean, because you have been the focus of the Wright State offense, other teams, who's been the most difficult team defensively? All teams have been very physical, and you're going to face a physical team tomorrow night in IUPUI.
I mean, IUPUI, they're pretty dang good. I mean, I haven't played particularly well against them. We obviously won the first time here at home, and then at their place, it got real tight down the end to some free throws, and we were able to scrape by. So they're really physical, like you guys said. Ishmael is 7 feet, 7'1", and Evan Hall's just very athletic, and he's a very strong guy. So their interior defense is very good, and their guards know when to dig and help, so it'll be a good one. It'll be tough.
What's it like for you guys preparing now? Not a whole lot of time between the Milwaukee win, you share the league title, and now it's back onto the court tomorrow night. Obviously, you like being at home.
Absolutely. You love being at home. You love being able to play in front of your own fans. And for us, it's the same as in between on the road trip, you know, that Friday, Saturday deal. It's kind of the same as that. Obviously, we have one extra day, but it's not a bunch of physical stuff. It's a lot of mental stuff that we work on.
Yeah, that's the important thing now, because you've played these guys twice. The preparation is, you're not going to change a whole lot. You know what they do. They know what you do. So it's just a matter of going out and getting it done. But you have a huge advantage of playing at home. One of the things in this league is, I mean, Wright State and Northern Kentucky, I think, are the only two teams that have got a winning road record. Everybody else has struggled on the road, and that's what IUPU has tomorrow. Not that they can't come in here and win, but I mean, they're on the road, and it's a different atmosphere.
No, it's definitely an advantage. And like Coach said, though, I mean, every team in this league, they had a chance to be between 3 and 8 after last night. And IUPUI, they're not their normal 8 seed. You know, there's a lot of conferences where that might be like a bye, and I don't think in this conference that's the case at all.
Yeah.
You never take any opponent lightly. You don't at all, especially this year because of the way the league has gone. You know, the mindset of your team now, yeah, it was great. You got the win in Milwaukee, you shared the title, but this team has always had a great way of bouncing back, you know, for that next game and doing, I know it's a cliche, but taking it one game at a time.
No, yeah, and that's really what you got to do. You really got to focus in, because a long season, regular season's over. It's been so long, but now it's 3 more games. But really, it's just one at a time, because if not, you're going home, or we will stay home if we don't win. So,
you know, I saw a picture. We just were up in Green Bay and Milwaukee, and your high school coach came to a game, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
High school coach came through. He obviously, that was my first championship kind of team we played. For the high school, when I was a junior, we played for state championship. We only made it to the 3rd place game because we lost in the semifinals, but that was real fun to talk about, and it was good to see him. He's moved on to another school, but they're doing real well. They just won a regional in Illinois, too.
Yeah, that's now, where is he coaching now?
I'm not exact. I think like Naperville North or something
okay,
like that.
yeah.
Something a bigger school than where we were at. And
Yeah.
then even my high school, I know they won a regional too. So a lot of success where we're from and where Cole's from, and continued success. So.
You know, Coach, I have to say this, though, before we let Loudon go and bring Cole in, is that, you know, he's such a tough guy. You know, we were after after Green Bay, once we arrived, we went to practice. It was like 1 degree outside. Okay, it was freezing. He's running around in his shorts and his cutoff shirt, you know, from practice, going out to the bus. No big deal.
Tough, stupid, whatever you want to call it. I might have almost caught a cold. Jay Frank doesn't like it. The coaches don't like it. But, I mean, it's just like 50 steps on the bus to the practice facility.
Wow.
So.
Hey, you're no different than your head coach, because I was out at Wright State today, and I was watching him walk from the pavilion over. It's like 14 degrees, and he's in shorts.
He'll do it the other way. He'll go from the sauna all the way back to the pavilion, sweating, dripping in sweat. So.
Well, Loudon, best of luck tomorrow night and get a win against IUPUI.
Thank you. Appreciate
All right,
it.
stay with us. We'll have more. Cole Gentry, point guard of Wright State, coming up next at Flyboys in Beaver Creek. This is the Scott Nagy Show. This is Wright State University basketball.
What does it mean to be a pioneer, reaching your full potential? It means being bold. No, bigger than bold, monumental. Where would we be if we ceased at the first "you can't do that"? How would we advance if we stopped in our tracks every time we heard "hey you, move back"? We develop thick skin when opposition wishes we'd stay soft. Against resistance, our persistence will pay off. At Wright State, our goal remains central. We are the pioneers of potential.
Our Raider friends out here at Flyboys in Beaver Creek. Yes, the site of the coaches shows, both Katrina Merriweather women's side, the undisputed Horizon League regular season champs, and the Wright State men's basketball team sharing the title with Northern Kentucky this year. But the number 1 seed in the game against IUPUI tomorrow night. Again, for ticket information, go to WSURaiders.com. If you don't have it, tell your friends, family. It's going to be a great game tomorrow night. Support this team. They definitely have earned it. And the phone number out there also is 937-775-4934. And we're pleased to have with us right now the point guard at Wright State. His name is Cole Gentry. And Cole, I just want to thank you. You know, isn't it great about kids who love the game? And we mentioned Micah earlier here from Beaver Creek. You and Loudon coming out and connecting with him. I just want to thank you for doing that. That's great.
Yeah, appreciate him coming out. It's cool to see that, you know, you have supporters like that. We obviously haven't met Micah, but you don't think about how many people really love Wright State basketball like we do. So it's cool to see. So we thank him for coming out.
Well, it's been another interesting season. I mean, it's a dogfight every game, but you're out there, you be able to handle the ball, one of the best ball handlers in the league, and what a tough matchup against Milwaukee the other night. You heard Coach Nagy talk about it. We were talking with Loudon about it. What was it like for you once you realized we showed that picture? I don't know if you've seen that yet or not.
Yeah,
of you and Loudon jumping off the bench and Coach Cooley, jumping about 3 feet up in the air. That's what March basketball is all about, and that's what you've trained for and you've done ever since a kid. This is where you want to be.
Yeah, that moment, it's hard to put into perspective because everybody obviously hasn't been with us all season, been through the ups and downs that we went through. So I think that picture really sums it up, where you can just see how happy all 4 of us were to hear that final buzzer and know that we were regular season champs and everything that went into that. So it's just kind of all the emotions coming out at once. And
a lot that goes into it is work and individual workouts, and this whole team does that. But I was told that I don't think anybody works harder than Cole Gentry.
Yeah, I love basketball. I love playing. I love working on my game. I love being part of a team. I love being part of this team, and it's not something I take for granted, being able to play college basketball. So I just love putting in the work like that. So
I'll tell you what, Cole, I gotta apologize to you.
Okay.
I was interviewing Parker Ernsthausen after the game the other day, and I was talking about the big plays that were made of the game, and I misspoke about your shot. I said it was a hoper. And the shot that you made at the end of the game where you were driving into the lane. And for a lot of people, that is a hoper. But for Cole Gentry, that's a good shot. You practice that. I'm talking about you're driving down the lane, you're going full speed forward, and you shoot the ball, and you don't have the advantage of using the backboard, so you've got to be perfect. It's a difficult shot, but you obviously practice it because that's something that we've seen many times this year, and no better time than that because that was a huge basket, put us back up by a point.
Yeah, it's definitely a shot I've worked on ever since I was younger. I've always been a little shorter than everybody else on the court, and so I had to work on some things that maybe are a little more unorthodox, versus Loudon probably would never have to shoot that shot because he's probably bigger than everybody. But it's just something I've had to work on throughout my life, and it allows me to get a shot off when I'm down there around the big guys. So.
Well, the other thing is many times this year you've dribble drive to the basket and you've shot it high off the backboard. They have that little square up there that says if you put it in there, but many times you've shot it well above that square and got it to go in and to get it over the defense.
Yeah, it's similar things. Just got to try to figure out what you can do, what will work for you. And so I've kind of figured out when I was younger that I was going to be shorter than a lot of guys, so I had to figure out what I could do to get the job done when I get closer to the basket.
Cole, you've logged more minutes than anybody this year, on this team. I know you're proud of that. You want to be on the floor all the time, but for you, there's only one speed. You like to play fast. You enjoy that.
Energizer Bunny is what I call them.
Yeah.
You're the Energizer Bunny. You're everywhere, and when you're done playing at Wright State, there'll be a spot with you on the Harlem Globetrotters because you just can weave in and out, keep your dribble. I mean, that's a talent that has helped us many, many times.
Yeah, it's playing fast, something we've been doing a lot more recently. We've been kind of making an emphasis in practice, and obviously I think for the most part everybody likes to play fast because it's fun, it's up and down, it's like fast break and stuff. So it's something I'm definitely more comfortable doing than kind of walking the ball up and playing slow, but whatever it takes for us to win is fine with me. So.
You like to get that rebound from your guys up front and get that outlet pass and move it up the sideline. There are many times where you just take the ball back to the basket. I can remember 2 or 3 times this year, especially at home, where you just outrace with the ball your defender to the basket and score a layup.
Yeah, and that's kind of the whole key when we're running fast breaks like that is to get easier shots so we don't have to play against half-court defenses because like we scout everybody scouts us, and they know what we're trying to do. We know what they're trying to do. So the more easy shots you can get without their defense getting set, the better. So that's kind of the thinking behind us trying to run more a little bit lately.
With the minutes played and the players that you've had to play against this year, not only in this league, but there are a lot of talented guards, very physical guards, but also in the non-league schedule. It's been quite an experience for you this year.
Yeah, no, there's definitely been a lot of good players we've played against, and every game kind of has its different game plan, different players, different guys you're guarding, different guys that are guarding you. So every game's its own little. Every game's a different game, I guess would be the best way to put it.
Milwaukee made some adjustments. You know, they did basically just in isolation with their point guard the other night, little pick and rolls at times and whatever, and we had to adjust to that.
Yeah, they were running a side pick and roll, and their bigs are really big. They're really good screeners, so it wasn't easy for us guards to get through those screens. But I think the first half we were a lot better. Obviously, the second half was not as good defensively, but we got a few stops late, figured it out a little bit, and then we made some free throws late in the game to kind of seal it.
Cole, there's been a lot of close games this year. Been on the other side of it at times too. Obviously, it was so gratifying to win against Milwaukee. Going into a tournament like this where everybody is going to be able to put forth their best effort because they know this is it in a one-bid league, how is that going to help your team being involved in so many close games going into this tournament?
Yeah, I think it helps with I'd kind of call it the comfort level. We're not going to be out of our element if the game's close late, because like you said, we've been in a bunch of those type of games, especially lately. I feel like a lot of them have been like that. So we know what the key is to just kind of keep things rolling and keep our heads when it's close late and not kind of do stuff that we're not supposed to be doing just because it's tight game late and there's a little bit of added pressure that comes with that.
So what's it like preparing now for the tournament, just a few days just from the final regular season game, but you are going to be able to play here at home. The mindset of the team as they head into this first game at home.
Yeah, obviously there's nothing like a home game. We love playing at home, and I think we've lost once in league at home, yeah. And so it obviously helps playing at home, but like Coach Nagy always says, you can't just count on playing at home. You still got to be the better team, just like every other home team has to be the better team when they play at home. So it is nice playing at home, but it's got to be the same mindset going into this game that it is to going into all of them.
That's your second season here at Wright State. You had to wait last year for the first semester because of transfer rules. Now it's your junior year.
Yeah.
What's it been like for you now since you've been out on the floor to be able to participate, in this league, and how much you have grown and what you've learned in your experience at Wright State?
Yeah, my experience here has been incredible. It's everything I could have asked for, with the fans, my teammates, my coaches, you guys, everybody in between. It's really been great, and I think what I've learned is it's a long season, and you just can't get too high and too low at any point, because we were, I think, 8-10 at one point, and now 19-12. So we've won, 11 out of 13. So you can't get too low if you're struggling. You can't get too high if you're playing well. So
talking to one of your teammates the last home game, and I said, you guys turned things around. When do you think it was turned around? And he said, well, we all got together as a group after the Detroit Mercy loss. And ever since then, like you said, there's only been 2 losses, since then. And I said, well, what's been the difference? And he goes, just a lot of trust between us.
Yeah, for sure. And I think winning a couple of those games right after that loss, and then we kind of got used to winning. It's kind of like once you win a few, all of a sudden now we expect to win every game. Not that we didn't expect to win every game going in, but then the team gets a lot more confidence. All of a sudden players get a lot more confidence, different guys. I think Malachi Smith from the beginning of the season to now is just a great – his improvement's been incredible. And it's just guys like that, he gets more confidence, and then we see him with more confidence, so everybody else gets more confidence. It's kind of like a snowball effect in that way. And so I think winning a couple games when we were around 8-10 got us to about 10-10, and then we kind of kept snowballing wins together, and then you can see what happens at the end of the season.
Well, this segment has gone just like how you like to play. It's gone fast.
Yeah.
I got to get one more break in, but Cole, congratulations to this point, and best of luck in the upcoming tournament.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Cole Gentry, join us here at Fly Boys in Beaver Creek. We'll be back with a final word when we continue. This is Wright State University basketball.
Hi, I'm Bob Grody, class of 1976 and former Raiders player and coach. Did you know that once you're a Wright State grad, you're automatically a member of the Alumni Association? As a member, tap into the Wright State Network, attend a local alumni event, and earn discounts and special offers. Log on to wrightstatealumni.com and make the most of your membership. Thank you, and go Raiders.
And welcome back to Fly Boys. We have about a couple of minutes left, but we wanted to take the time this year to thank a lot of people who have been responsible for this. And first, it's the fans. We really appreciate you coming out here tonight. The Wright State University Athletic Department, Bob Grant, Joylyn Brown is here tonight, as well as Jeff Giles. Ken Lake is here. Bob Noss, of course, I know, Jim, we really appreciate everything that Bob does, assistant sports information director. He is the sports information director here and assistant athletic director. They don't get a lot of credit, and I know he doesn't like us to talk about him, but
he's great. He's absolutely great.
We wouldn't be able to do what we do without all the help that Bob gives us.
Not.
So we want to thank him for that. Please, thank you. Jason Doyle is here tonight. Took over for the Hall of Famer. That's right, as the PA announcer at Wright State.
Doing a great job.
Wise,
yes.
Outstanding, is here tonight. And I hope I'm not really missing anybody, but it's been a great season, and it's not over yet. Again, women, tomorrow night at the Nutter Center, 5:30 tip-off against Oakland, the number 1 and the 8 seed. You can see it here on the screen here with us, and those watching on the stream and on radio. For tickets, you need to call 937-775-4934 or go to the athletic website at wsuraiders.com, because we want to see you in the seats rooting the Raiders on as the road then will continue to Detroit for Motor City Madness. Coach Brown, been a great season. Thank you very much.
Sure thing.
And want to see everybody out tomorrow at Nutter Center for Wright State women's and men's basketball. Steve, thank you so much for being such a gracious host here at Fly Boys this year, and we look forward to next season. Sydney from the radio station, our engineer here on site, thank you so much. And, of course, to Greg and all his group here from the Wright State Communications, we really appreciate you making our job a lot easier. This is Chris Collins for Coach Jim Brown. See you at the Nutter Center tomorrow night. Wright State, let's move on to Detroit. This has been Wright State University Basketball.